Mixed vegetable brown rice ingredients, 1 and 1/4 cup brown rice, 3 and 1/2 cups water, 1 can of mixed vegetable rainwater or mixed vegetable frozen, 1 small tomato diced, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of parsley dried, 1 small onion diced, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Instructions: 1. First, wash the rice in water 2 or 3 times. 2. Put the washed rice, salt and water to boil for 10 minutes with the stove gauged at 6. Cover the pot with the lid slightly. By now, the water dried out. Next, stir the rice in, then cover the pot with the lid. Be sure it's sealed completely. Allow to steam for 30 minutes with the stove gauged on very low. To ensure a good cook, use a clean plastic to cover over the rice, then put the lid on. After that time is completed, 2. Turn off and cool. 3. Next, put to heat a big frying pot at gauge 8. After 1 minute, add the oil, the onion and the scallion. Allow to fry for 1 minute. Add basil, parsley and tomato. Fry for 30 seconds, then add the cooled rice to the pot. Stir in slowly as it fries at the gauge still at 8 for 3 minutes. Next, add the mixed vegetables, the black pepper and the white vinegar. Continue to stir in for 3 more minutes, then turn off. 4. If you are using overnight rice, which was in the refrigerator, cover the pot and allow to steam for 10 minutes with the stove gauge at very low.
Okay, today we're gonna make vegetable brown rice. Now, to 1.5 cups, to 1.5 cup of brown rice, you just put to rinse. Just wash it. Just do like this. Make sure it's washed. Do this 3 times and remove the water. Rinse it 3 times. Now, to 1.5 cup of brown rice, we're gonna add 3.5 cups of water and put to boil. Put it in a stove and put to boil, and add one teaspoon of sea salt. Slightly cover and put to boil. Put the stove on high. Put the stove on 7, between 6 and 7. Put the stove on 8 for now. After 10 minutes, put the stove on 4, because it's been on. If you're not using vegetable from the can, put to boil half pound of frozen mixed vegetable and add a pinch of salt. Now after 30 minutes, it's going to look like this, and all the water is diluted. You just turn the stove on low, very low, almost off, very low, almost off, and then seal it. If you're unable to seal it, you can take a clean bag and just do like that and just let it stay and just cover it. Now after 10 minutes with the stove on 4, turn it off and remove the water and let it stay for now. Cover and let it stay. Remove the water and let it stay. I just remove the water. Just let it stay like this and cool. Now to our frying pan, we're going to make vegetable rice. Now to our frying pan, we're going to add 2 tablespoons. That's 1. 2 tablespoons of oil. Then we're going to add 1 onion diced. Or you can use half if you want. And just let this caramelize. Now after 6 minutes. Now after 6 minutes. Preferably use a fork. You can use a spoon. And with the stove gauge on 6. You can turn it down, put it on low right now. Add the vegetable. You don't need to add salt because salt is already in the rice. And stir it. Now, after a minute or so, add, let's see first how it goes. Add 1 teaspoon of black pepper. One teaspoon of black pepper. One teaspoon of dried parsley. And 1 teaspoon of dried basil. And 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Like half a teaspoon of white vinegar. 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Then with the stove on, turn it up a little. Put it on 2. And that's it. You can add a little bit more black pepper. Then if this was cold rice, you would turn the stove on low and just cover it. But this rice I just cooked, so I can turn it off. And just let it steam by itself. It's off. Vegetable rice and chicken. Vegetable rice and fried chicken. Fried chicken and vegetable rice with brown rice. Vegetable rice and chicken.